Case number 3, Tesla by Group 1, Stephanie and Elena. Some general facts and issues for Tesla. Tesla redefined the automotive industry by having ambitious goals and boldly asserting a new version for technology. It's also forcing the industry to change by popularizing the electric vehicles and hybrids. It's working with artificial intelligence in the cars and presenting that to the idea of the car industry. You would think that Tesla was the first one to invent the electric car, but you are incorrect. Scottish inventor Robert Anderson actually invented the electric car back in 1832. There are some statistics out there for the Bureau of Transportation that show that the U.S. didn't actually break the 100K hybrid electric cars. It was actually until 2005. And Tesla didn't sell vehicles until 2017 when they surpassed the 71,000 in the United States. Electric cars are new to the industry with less than 15 years of experience. Also, Elon Musk was not the one who invented Tesla. Back in July of 2003, it was actually Martin and Mark. Elon Musk didn't join Tesla until the following year, 2004. Tesla also has released a vehicle software over the air, which means that instead of having to take your vehicle to the dealership for updates, you can automatically do it again over the air to update all of these softwares. Specific questions for Tesla. How did Tesla determine that creating cars with all this tech was a possibility for success amidst all the other established car makers? Why not just partner up with an existing automakers such as Ford that's been around since 1903? With such an innovative idea and consumers that had proven to be interested based on the massive pre-orders, how did Tesla not raise enough capital to secure the supply chain? Being that back when it was popular to order, these were high demand. All you needed to do was put a deposit of $1,000. Now you can actually place a car on hold for $100 after you've already pre-made your vehicle. Why didn't the other automakers adapt to the technology like Tesla faster? Why does Tesla continue to deliver defective vehicles? From our previous research, Model S and Model 3 had similar issues and defects. Why hasn't Tesla created a quality control team? Being that technology is taking such a full force into our society with the new incoming models, why haven't they created this? They're a multi-million-dollar company. Why haven't they created or taken the time to review all these quality controls? And last but not least, why hasn't Tesla considered looking into other suppliers? I understand they're trying to make that short-term relationship goal into, hey, society is changing, the economy is changing, technology is changing in a blink of an eye. So by the time they actually get these parts, they're obsolete. So why not have a backup plan? Theories and concepts. The business strategy for Tesla is based on providing more technologically advanced cars with significantly better gas mileage than other auto options. They also provide cars with better capability, and this makes them unique in their brand positioning. Porter's 5 forces for the profitability for Tesla is number 1, buyers. Consumers who are very interested in these new car concepts and are pre-ordering in mass. Again, for $100, I can pre-order a $74,000 car to my custom made, and then my monthly payments are going to be, again, extremely high at $900. Number 2 is the suppliers. There's a weak spot, but using a different model than other automakers. Number 3, substitutes. There's no other car maker that make these cars with this technology and the gas mileage like this ever before. Number 4 is the new entrants. Tesla was a new entrant, so there's really no other new entrants coming into light as of right now. Number 5, existing rivals. Other automakers began entering this electric electric vehicle market has a solid demand for these cars thanks to Tesla. A couple of lower end vehicles would be the Mustang in 2021. They're going to release an electric car called the Midge E. You also have Volkswagen, Fiat, Kia, Honda, Toyota, Hyundai. These are more on the affordable spectrum. Then you have luxury cars such as Audi, BMW, Jaguar, and Porsche. So depending on your budget and what your wallet can buy, it's affordability. Stakeholders. Up at the top you have Tesla. On the first tier you're going to have your internal environment. Your strategic would be Elon Musk. Your managerial will be your team leaders in the various areas such as design, tech, and sales. You'll have your operational level for your employees and your suppliers. You'll have your investors. On the second tier, you're going to have your operating environment, such as other car companies, Ford being a big one, 1903. They're trying to come up with, these new high-tech sports car being all eco-friendly and trying to go electric and making sure that they're keeping their name brand alive. Your third tier will be your general environment. The first one being the social and culture factors. Tesla has changed the way consumers view the capabilities and the potential of these vehicles, and it has changed what the consumers demanded from auto products across the auto industry. And last but not least is your national and global economy. As people begin to see the potential and the design for these technological advanced cars continue to grow, and they're forcing automakers into the world to invest in new technology and the design concept in relation to the new electric vehicle and the hybrid models. A quick example being, you go to the car dealership, you were used to your basic, okay, here's your car, there you go, air conditioning and your radio. Now being on the next tier, being car Apple, your push to start vehicle, your air conditioning, your panoramic view. On the next tier being your premium, it's a sports line, you have your nice rims, you have your touch screen, you have your Apple Play, you have your panoramic view. So now being that everything's so advanced and so technological, I could get a basic model that I just connect my iPhone, go into Apple Play, CarPlay, and now I'm connected. I get my Google Maps, I can access my text messages, I can do my wireless phone calls, I can go ahead and do the voice command. I have the air conditioning, I have the lower windows. You name it, I have it. Now let's look at the symptoms and the problems for Tesla, as well as what we have decided is appropriate decision criteria for them to consider. Symptom number 1. The cars have defects. They had significant defects in the beginning, potentially due to the lack of prototyping. Number 2, there were significant supplier issues with their supply chain management. Issue number 3, they had a production bottleneck issue. And 4, they had a lack of funding from their investors. These led to the problem that they were struggling to meet the deadline frequently. They had a huge backup of pre-orders that they just could not meet. Our opinion is that they should work on a method to have a supplier board, more like the other auto producers, so that you can have a potentially stable supply chain to meet your deadlines and produce the products that you need, but with variability to get them from other product managers if necessary. We believe this should be researched and in place within 1 year, as it's important for them to meet their deadlines. Our second set is a misuse of tech causing crashes, and AI in the systems making errors and misjudgments while engaged. This has led the public to believe that AI as a whole is considered unsafe. We believe that they should invest in more safety and tech teams to solely focus on this issue and really focus on building out the technology of this AI in the cars. And we believe this should be an ongoing process because, yes, you can implement a fantastic product, but it's important that you're continuing to upgrade and enhance this product to make it as safe as possible. Now let's look at the decision criteria more in depth, as well as their alternatives, pros, and cons. The first decision criteria was work on a method to have a supplier board like other auto producers so that you can have a more stable supply chain and meet your deadlines effectively. We believe this should be researched and in place within 1 year. The first alternative is to just do nothing. If you do nothing, you maintain a good relationship with your one current supplier as well as any contracts that you have with them. But
you will probably still miss deadlines as you currently are missing deadlines. Alternative number 2, continue with just the one partner, but invest in their production or company. By investing in their company, you can increase their ability to output product. You can increase warehouse sizes. You can increase machines and employees. You can help them invest in themselves so that you can get a better product. However, the con is you can't guarantee that any money that you sink into this other company is going to actually lead to an increase in revenue or an ability to maintain parts. Alternative number 3, invest in your own manufacturing. The pro to this is that if you eliminate the third-party suppliers and control your own output, you can control which products come out and when. The problem with this, though, is there is a very high level of capital required to go out and build your own supply chain. And that's a problem for a company that's already significantly struggling to raise funding for their own cars and manufacturing. Alternative number 4 is to partner with an automaker. The positive to this is that you can increase your output by leveraging the success of a much larger car company that has the relationships with a supply board. However, the con to this is you will probably have to lose control of part of your company because no big automaker is just going to let you have access to their supply chain without something in return for them. This leads us to decision criteria number 2. Invest in more safety and tech teams to solely focus on this issue. This should be an ongoing process related to AI. The first alternative to this is do nothing. Because the pro is eventually the tech will be where it needs to be and then it'll all work out. But the con is the tech will remain faulty currently as there is nothing being done to actively increase its abilities, and therefore you're going to have faulty AI in cars, even if it's a small percentage, and that's going to lead to a significant issue with your consumer base. Alternative number 2 is to work with other automakers on a solution for AI in cars, as many of them have now been intrigued by the Tesla idea and are working on their own methods. The pro to this is more minds working on the project have a better chance of creating a solution to the AI issues. However, the con is you will probably lower the creative edge you have over the other companies because Tesla was the original creator of the AI in terms of our current automaker society, but the other ones are all trying to play catch up, so they need to keep their edge. Alternative number 3 is just to give up on AI. Pro to this is no more issues if you just avoid it. But the con is you literally lose what your entire brand is about, creating that cutting-edge technology to push automaking into the future and bring your consumers something amazing. The final option is to focus on training for the drivers when they purchase the cars. Pro to this is that there's a lot of issues about drivers incorrectly using the system. So if we can actively train them how to properly use the system, then it would lead to far less issues. However, the con to this is that enough? Is it enough to say that training a person on when they buy a new Tesla with AI in it won't stop a technical misjudgment by a computer system? Is that enough to save a life, or is that just a patch over a bigger problem? Now for the implementation plan. We ultimately believe that Tesla needs to work on its supply chain issues, as this seems to be one of the most dominating issues they have, affecting so many different aspects of their business. And we believe they need to do this so that it can not only secure parts, but so that it can meet the deadlines they have on production and so that they can meet all of those back orders that they have. We believe this will also lead to a better relationship with their customers and their investors. Quarter 1, they need to research and find suppliers that can get them what they need. Once they have found these suppliers, they need to vet them and figure out who they think really can get them what they need, the way they need it, with the technology and the quality they require. Which leads us to quarter 2. Once they have found these suppliers, they need to implement them into their day-to-day supply chain and create more of a board like the other automakers so that if there ever is an issue with one supplier, they have a backup or a second or a third or a fourth that can support them. Which brings us to quarter 3. Now we need to start processing our day-to-day and make adjustments as necessary. This may mean suppliers may need to be changed out, or maybe if everything is going well, we can figure out ways to increase output or just make the system more efficient. But ultimately, we need to just start working on making our adjustments as necessary so we can get the most efficient production supply chain. We also believe as part of this, they need to start adding prototypes to cars, and it's important not to skip this step because we need to make sure that not only are the supplies coming through, but they are creating a good quality car. We don't want seemingly good supplies on a car that is then highly faulty. Which brings us to quarter 4. We believe they, at this point, with all of these steps in place, they should be able to begin meeting their deadlines on production, getting all their Tesla models out, meeting those back orders, and building those great relationships with suppliers, as well as their customers who are now receiving the cars that they've paid for. We also believe this will lead to a great relationship with your investors because they will see these high quality cars, these on-demand cars, getting pushed out, meeting deadlines with excellent products, excellent technology, and excellent reviews from their customers. And they will be much more interested and much more ready to spend their money on Tesla, invest in Tesla, so that Tesla can then take that money and continue to build their technologies, their training teams, their research and development, as well as increase their production outputs. Finally, our justification for the decision. Tesla ultimately wants to be the #1 car maker in the world and has really given the auto industry a tough new competitor. Tesla thrives on providing consumers with technologically advanced, environmentally friendly, and beautiful cars, and consumers have really begun a love affair with this brand. However, despite all the support from consumers, Tesla cannot make enough of the product because of severe issues with their supply chain. A good portion of this issue is unfortunately due to the inability to raise funds, but also because they are trying a new model to get parts. At this stage, the new model is not working and investors are reluctant to invest further in a company that cannot meet their deadlines and seems to have a significant issue with production bottlenecks and supply chain management. Tesla needs to build a relationship with more suppliers so it is never in short supply for their production and so they can meet their deadlines. They also need to use prototypes more often as this process so that they can begin to practice that build and really focus on the quality of their cars and making sure that all these new supplier parts are effective and quality. Once they can prove that they have a reliable supply chain and that they can produce these high quality cars that they claim, the investors will be more likely to invest capital because they will see the value and the benefit in this growing car company, and that will help them to fine-tune their process and just continue to grow into the company they know they can be, the #1 automaker.
Updated information for Tesla. Did you guys watch on November 22nd of last year when Tesla tried to do a live demonstration on the glass for the Cybertruck vehicle on television? So what had happened was that during the demonstration, they tried to say that the glass was unbreakable. However, it didn't turn out that way. As you can see from the video, the glass instantly shattered. And what had happened after that is Elon Musk went on Twitter and stated that right before they did this trial on television, they actually kept practicing and the glass was unbreakable. So this one happened to be a defective part. Another update was that on March 13th of 2020, modified specifications were released. This has caused quite a bit of a stir, being that last year the glass is unbreakable. So we're hoping Tesla keeps their word. Continuing on for the updates on what Tesla's up to, here's that video referencing the Twitter that I was talking about where the Tesla Cybertruck glass test passed right before the launch. So here's a quick video. It's actually showing you in slow motion. And here's that Franz guy. So he's throwing the steel ball at the Cybertruck window. Back in August of last year, there was a driver that fell asleep behind the wheel.
As you can see right here, a driver asleep at the wheel. This is crazy. Asleep at the wheel of his Tesla. It's raising more safety concerns about the vehicle. And ABC's Trevor Alt joins us with more. Trevor, good morning to you.
So going back to that Cybertruck, I'll show you real quick. It begins at $39,000. But here's the catch. For $7,000, you could do the self-driving vehicle. What does that entail? If you read the Learn More, it specifically says that the currently enabled features require active, I'm going to highlight that, active driver supervision and do not make the vehicle autonomous. Right? So the activation and the use of these features are dependent on achieving reliability far in exceed in access
of human drivers is demonstrated by billions of miles of experience as well as regulatory approval, which may take longer in some jurisdictions. As these self-driving features evolve, your car will continuously upgrade through over-the-air software updates. So, for $7,000, this is not a self-driving vehicle automatically. So, going back to what Tesla is stating that, hey, here's a, tech Suave car, but I'm going to pay $7,000 for it. It's not a self-driving vehicle, and I'm literally paying someone to Uber me around, but I need to be an active driver supervision. And then for them to say that, hey, as the self-driving features continue to evolve, I have to continuously update it. So kind of like a memory card, up to how many gigabytes is this car going to exceed the limit. So is this something that I have to be on the lookout for, where now I have to buy a memory card for my vehicle? I don't know. I don't drive one. Help? I don't know. Who do I ask? Do I go to the frequently asked questions on that? So something to think about that for $7,000, are you really going to pay someone, or for $5 I can call an Uber and tell them, hey, I need you to take me here? So thoughts, comments, concerns, let us know.